So a little while ago we were talking about price sensitivity and elasticity, and next I wanted to talk about the dynamics of supply and demand. So we take a snapshot in time and we take the demand and supply. And at any given moment, we end up with an equilibrium. And that equilibrium is usually given as a pair, a price and quantity. And we know that at this moment, at this instant in time, for this particular market, the expected price would be here. If this wasn't the actual market price, it would be falling towards there or rising towards it. Sometimes the length of time it takes to adjust to the market clearing or equilibrium price depends more on physics, engineering, or biology than anything else. If you think about a good example from agriculture is a blue agave, which is what they distill to make tequila. So at one point the price spiked and everyone said we should increase the quantity supply because there's a shortage. And what happened then was everyone started to plant in order to increase the supply because there was a shortage, knowing this would drive the price down. The problem was that it takes about 8 years between when you plant it and when you're able to harvest it. So the price went up and there was a shortage for 7 or 8 years until they were finally able to reach the long-term equilibrium. What we get here is a situation where, as noted, supply and demand are dynamic ideas. So let's say we've got the supply and demand for hotel rooms in Bangkok, and suddenly, I don't know why, the demand for rooms is no longer what it once was. Maybe people aren't as interested in going to Bangkok right now. If that happens, you'll see the demand curve shifts. And now there's one of two possibilities. One possibility is that now there's a surplus. At the old prices, the quantity supplied is much greater than the quantity demanded, which means there's a surplus of rooms. There's a lot of empty rooms. The second possibility is that the price will go down. And sometimes hotels will choose not to lower their price because of image and brand and the inability to raise it later. But at lower end hotels, at cheaper properties, you see quick adjustments to equilibrium. So always keep in mind that supply and demand are not constant. They're susceptible to changes, and those changes can occur from changes in people's feelings. Changes in the cost of manufacturing will shift the supply curve. If it's agriculture, it could be a good season, a good crop, a good harvest, or a bad one. And that affects the common price in the market for everyone. With demand, it could be a change in income. When there's a big recession, my demand for normal goods goes down. My demand for inferior goods goes up. If the price of other goods change, then the demand curve might change as well. So there's a number of things that could shock or change the price. They could shock or change the supply or demand, and that will tend to subsequently have an impact on the price.